everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leanna and I'm a full-time reseller on a few platforms. Today I have a what sold in April for you. It is going to be a bit of a twisted one in the sense that we're focusing on four of the platforms that I sell on, and we're going to talk about broadening your scope, meaning looking at different platforms to sell your items on, and even checking out different categories of items to see if maybe you could broaden your sales that way. So we're going to begin with a couple of things that sold on eBay. eBay is Paul's domain for the most part. It's not something I deal with on a day-to-day, except for with the sourcing. We do help each other out that way. So to begin with, we sold these men's Keens hiking shoes. They sold for $80 Canadian, which is really, it's a good sale. Now, I bring these ones up because, first of all, hiking is seasonal and the time is now. And really, depending on where you live, you could be hiking all year round. So that is something that I will always sort of keep my eye out, and there's no, oh, it's this season, so I'm going to do this. It's an all the time thing. Keen is a really good name if you want to go into outdoor gear. The other reason I bring this up is they're men's. And if you have not tapped into the men's market, you're thinking about it, you could start with something very small in the sense of money. You don't have to invest a lot of income into picking up a couple of shirts, picking up a pair of shoes. Do your comp search, make a wise decision as you would with any part of your business. But don't be afraid of the menswear. The menswear can be quite lucrative. They have some really good brands as well. And I enjoy selling some men's items. My closet, my Poshmark stuff is mainly women's, but I do have men's. The next pair of shoes, again on eBay, that sold are these they're called Sinook Skipjack Canvas Surfer Shoes. That's the title. They sold for $36.99 US, and that is because we listed them on ebay.com, and I believe we do that because that has a bigger market, or the shipping is easier on that. I will get back to you on exactly why we separate some things. Paul knows, and we'll do a whole thing about that. Anyway, again, these are seasonal because you know what? They're for the camp, they're for the beach, and they're for summer. But again, they're men's. This is something where Paul saw this, went, those are really cool, and looked them up. So sometimes your eyes might tell you, oh, I like that. And then you'll do the further research and you'll find that the comps are great or they're not. But it opens your mind to looking at different things. I know sometimes when I go into the thrift store, I have tunnel vision, I just want this. And you can miss a lot of things that way. Okay, we are going to move on to Vinted Canada, which is really new for us. We are liking it because we made a couple of sales. On Vinted, the sellers pay no fees, which is different. The buyers are the ones paying fees. So when you're pricing, you need to keep that in mind. And right now they have a great shipping discount, especially here in Canada. I think Pure Later and UPS are only $2.99 countrywide. So that's a really good incentive to get onto Vinted and shop or sell. So again, I'm going to let you know about these Merrells. And the reason I'm bringing them up again, I did list them on Vinted. They sold, I had an offer within 20 minutes of listing. These were listed on my Posh US and my Posh Canada closet, one for like a year and one for 2 years, and they were getting very little attention. I cross-listed them over to Vinted. 20 minutes later, I had a $28 offer, which is $28 in my pocket. Now, I'm bringing them up because trying new platforms can be a little overwhelming. New rules to learn, because you take what you know and you sort of apply it in a sense. So I know for us with Vinted, and you can see it when we price things, I sort of price to the dollar, $28, $35, whatever. And Paul adds the 99 cents or the 66 cents because he's used to eBay pricing and I'm used to Poshmark pricing. However, Vinted, the sellers pay no fees. The buyers have 4 days to pay for what they offered or what they choose to buy. They have 4 days to pay. Then they have 3 or 4 days to actually accept the item once it gets delivered before your funds are released. We were very fortunate with these shoes. They paid that day. I shipped out the next day. They received them on the Tuesday, which was like 3 or 4 days later. They accepted right away. So that meant that my funds were released, and 2 days later it was in my bank account. So we were very fortunate with this sale. The buyer was amazing to work with. But trying new platforms can be a little but really Vinted is very easy. I'm having problems deciding how to work it. I'm so used to having to do this and having to do that. So it's very strange to me to do nothing. So I'm still working through, how to list things properly that they get seen. The next item that sold on Vinted Canada is more of a unisex item. It's this baseball cap. It's a John F. Kennedy baseball cap. It sold for $22.99. So we all know that was a Paul thing. He paid $3 for it originally. So there is a profit there of approximately $19 once you take into effect, is that the right word? You take into mind that you have your packaging and your time. So that's a really good, profit margin for us. I brought up hats though because that is an underrated market. I happen to love hats. I have a couple that I do like to wear. But when you go into a thrift store, do you ever go to the hats? Because normally they are underpriced because thrift stores probably don't even think that they're worth a lot of money, some thrift stores. So usually you can get really good deals on these hats. And there is a market for them. They do sell. In fact, I don't think I have any hats now available on posh.ca because I did, but they've all sold. So, untapped market. Again, going into the thrift store and opening up your eyes and just checking some stuff out. It is key that you do your comp search though. Don't just go willy-nilly going, I'm going to bring this hat home and it's nothing. Always do your comp search. Okay. Now we're going to go to Posh US. It was a very weird month on Posh US. The first 2 weeks, nothing. No sales, no nothing, which was frustrating and a little disconcerting, but it ended up better by the end of the month. One of the items that sold was this. Pier 1 imports their bowls, their little tulip bowls. They were really cute. They were in pretty good condition. They had some light scratching on the insides. But Pier 1 is a company that did a lot of home decor that is now out of business or defunct. And if you find some Pier 1 import items in the home decor section, they could be worth some money. These sold for $30 US, and after fees and cost of goods, I made probably close to $18, $19, which is great. With home decor, if you want to branch out into different categories again, try home decor. Some of those items can be worth a lot of money. They can be worth a little bit of money. But if you're interested in home decor to begin with, then it's like selling what you know. I would suggest that when you start, if you're first starting out with home items, that you don't choose things that are breakable. Go to things that are not breakable, that have low cost. There, your risk is lower. With breakable items on Poshmark, you have to package it properly in order for it not to break, because Poshmark does not cover items if you have not packaged them properly. That comes up when you go to list. There's a little warning saying, hey, you need to package this properly. So until you learn how to package it, I would definitely take my time and really focus on learning how to package, because it is important that you don't want your items broken. And what I used to do when I first started selling the breakable things, I would take a picture before I folded up the box and sealed it. I would take a picture of what was in there just to help me to sort of, protect me in case something did happen. So far, so good. I haven't had breakables, and I have built my confidence so I don't take photos anymore. But learn how to package something breakable properly. I don't have a video on that yet, but that's actually not a bad idea. Okay, next, Posh US. This is a Zara sheer floral dress, kimono, tunic. I don't know what you would call it. It was sheer, it was floral. That is trendy right now. And I don't always buy Zara. But if it is trendy and in the moment, I will definitely take it into consideration and I will buy it. I have bought a couple of Zara pieces that were just a little unique or on trend, and they've sold well for me. So this sold for $35 US, and I know that I only paid $4 for it. So that's pretty good. The last thing on Posh US that I want to talk about is this long sleeve Jamie Sadik golf shirt. Jamie Sadik is a brand that deals with, I believe it's only women's golf attire. Don't quote me on that. They could be doing men's as well, but I'm not sure. But they do a lot of women's. And I have sold a few of this brand. I know that here where I live, it's a golf town. There are golf courses all over the place. We get a lot of Jamie Sadik. And the thrift stores tend to not price it like at $8 or $9, which makes it a little more iffy to buy for reselling. And this one was only $4.50 because I got it half price. This was a SunSense material, which means that it helped protect you from the sun. This sold pretty fast, and it sold for $30. I turned my page over before I realized that. So it sold for $30 US. And for us here in Canada, selling in US dollars is, you have to do the math, right? So with the Jamie Sadik, if you do not sell sports attire, golf, tennis, I can't think of anything else right now, but those are also a good sort of niche market that you could explore, if you find things like that at your thrift store. I also live in a town that has fishing. There's a lot of fishing because we live on a lake. And I did pick up I think it was a Real Legends fishing shirt for women. And I mean, it's not going anywhere, but my investment was only, $3 or $4. And it's something I wanted to try. So keep that in mind when you go to the thrift store. Last but not least, Poshmark Canada, which is my main focus. So I picked up this sweater. I saw this in the thrift store. I went, noticed the fabric, not the fabric. I noticed the pattern and went, wow, that's a rainbow sweater. That is cool. So I went over and I looked, and it's wool and it's lamb's wool. And I'm like, okay. And it's got the asymmetrical zipper. This is cool. And I looked at the brand. The brand sells really well. So I bought this and sold it for $50 on Poshmark Canada. Really good profit there. My lesson with this one is sometimes your eyes tell you what to buy in a sense. And I saw the colors in this, and that attracted me to begin with. And I always keep in the back of my head, if I like it, if I'm attracted to it, other people will be as well. But what this sweater had going for it was the pattern and was the material. I always look for linen and silk and Angora and lamb's wool and wool and all those things, because fabric means a lot. Sometimes fabric overrules brand. This brand just happened to be a good brand for comps. So I was very happy with that sale. The next sale. This is going to tell you to not hold on to things. This is a Tommy Hilfiger. It's just a nice little denim skirt. It's very Y2K, very 90s, had the big patch on the back. I bought this my first summer reselling, so almost 3 years ago. And when I bought it, I went, that is cool. Someone's going to love that. I know someone's going to love that. Nobody loved it. Why I kept it in my closet? Well, you know what? Because I loved it. And I thought, nope, someone's going to love it. I was stubborn, and I really shouldn't have been. And if you take into consideration what it cost me to begin with, which was still, I think, $8 or $9, and all the time of sharing and relisting and all of that in 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and it sold for $15. I think I should have let it go, you know? So sometimes you make mistakes, and that's okay. The next item, we're almost done. The next item is this gold lame sleeveless. It could be a mini dress, it could be a tunic. It was really cool. I love this. I fell in love with this. I thought, oh, if it just had little sleeves and a V-neck, it would be mine. Unfortunately, it's just not my style in the sense of round necks and sleeveless, but I knew somebody would love it. Again, this is me going, yes, someone will love it. And I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of money out of it. I only paid $4 for it, but I just knew it was a good material. The brand was something called La Bici. I'll put the label up here. The comps weren't great, but I just no, I had to have it. And it did sell. It sold fairly quickly, like within like a month or two, and it sold for $20. Like not great, but this is one of those, that one just made me feel good that somebody got it and loved it. Sometimes I do that. But as a business owner, I have to do that less and buy things that are going to sell for more, if you know what I mean. Okay, last. And this is my most favorite sale of the whole month. Okay. I found these vintage platform lace up Oxford type shoes. Love these shoes. I went shopping at my local Value Village, which I don't do often, but I went last Tuesday. And I had a coupon, a 20% off coupon, but you have to spend $50 in order to use it. And normally I don't have a problem spending $50 at Value Village, right? So I did buy a couple of things for the house, and I did get a couple of things to resell, and I wasn't quite there yet, or at least I thought I wasn't quite there yet. So I headed over to the shoes. At this particular store, the shoes, I do well with the shoes. They miss a lot of brands in the shoes at this store. But I looked through a couple of racks, it was like nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I spotted these and went, whoa, they just looked so cool. And I grabbed them, and number one, they were heavy. Like each shoe was over 2 pounds for one shoe. It was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at the price, and they were only $9.99. And I'm like, and my coupon? Yeah, score in the basket. Absolutely. I love these shoes. Anyway, I went up to the cashier. It was a Tuesday, and Tuesdays is Seniors Day at our Value Village. I am not quite there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not quite there yet. And I had my 20% off coupon anyway. So I go up, and I'm talking to the cashier, and she's somebody I've talked to before. We have that sort of, that's a really cool item and whatever. So she looks at me and she goes, do you want to save your coupon today? I'm like, okay. And she goes, because it's Tuesday. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, but I'm not really there yet. Just so she knows. And she just went, that's okay. And she gave me 30% off. So these shoes only cost me $6.97. And they sold for $51. Like within a week. I was ecstatic. And my rule with these ones, there's two rules because there's two stories. These shoes, I don't know. Be nice to your store employees, be friendly, be kind, which you should be anyway, not to get a reward just because you should be kind, but build that rapport because I think that is important. Secondly, these shoes, they went to a buyer who a few weeks previously had messaged me about another pair of shoes I have in my closet. They're a Donald J. Pliner pointy toe mule. That's my sign language, I guess. And she asked about the sizing because she wasn't sure about the brand. So I looked on the website, found out the answer to her question, and I measured the inside, from the heel to the toe as best I could. But it's hard with pointy toe shoes, which I told her. I said, this is what I'm getting, but, it's kind of difficult because of this, so I'm not 100% sure they will fit you, which is fine. She said, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you very much. So two things. Always answer questions. I do not understand These sellers that say, nope, I'm not answering questions. Everything's in the listing. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. I don't understand that. Customers want to be heard. And yeah, I know it can be frustrating when the answer is in the listing or it's a totally ridiculous question like, how many times has this been worn? You know, those kinds of things. I understand that frustration. However, customers want to be heard. So answer the question. Do it nicely as well. Also, for buyers out there, when a seller has taken the time to answer a question for you, acknowledge that they answered it. Say, thank you very much. No, it's too small. Thank you very much. No, I think I can, whatever. Just answer. Just say thank you. It goes a long way. I answered her question. She thanked me. 2 weeks go by. I list these shoes. I send out offers to likers. And she asked me, she was like, thank you for the offer. Could you do me a favor and measure the inside of these shoes? Because these shoes had no markings on them, nothing. I had done an outside measurement and I had put them actually in a photo against a shoe that was an 8.5 to show that they were a bit bigger. But you know what? I have no problem going down and measuring these shoes for a customer. It takes me 30 seconds. And I did that. I said, actually, I got the notification when I was out shopping and said, listen, I'm out right now, but I will, when I get home in about an hour, I will do that for you. Just to know, just so she knows I'm listening. Come home, did the measurement, posted a photo, replied back to her saying, this is what the measurement I got was. I added a photo so you can see, and left it at that. And she purchased them. So really, number one, if something is utterly freaking cool, buy it, because somebody else is going to be thinking, whoa, that is cool. Number two, answer questions. Don't leave your buyers hanging. To me, it's rude and it's not a good business practice. Even if that's a really weird question, you could say, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. Whatever you want to say. To me, it works out better answering questions in the long run than not answering a question and not getting the sale, or not answering the question and having the buyer buy it and finding out it's not what they thought it was because you didn't answer the question and having a return. That is it. So thank you. This one's a little bit longer than normal. April turned out to be not too bad of a month. It was not the greatest. I was down a lot from March. However, it was still better than my November. So that's good. I think that's okay. I think I can build on that. If you're having issues with, your items are not selling, maybe checking out a different category or checking out a new platform might be the right fit for you. Yeah, so that's it for today. And today is Tuesday, by the way. This will be uploaded shortly. Tomorrow, May the 4th, May the 4th be with you, is event. The event is the search hacks. I will be uploading another video directly after that. I don't think I'll go live. I'm just going to sit down and go, this is what they told us. Get that information out to anybody that wants to hear it. And I'm hopeful that it will be a better event than last week's. I'm hoping that they give us some clues about how to list our items so that they can get found. I'm hopeful. So we'll see. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good Tuesday. And I'm going to see you tomorrow.